What is up, fellow bench warmers? Welcome to your daily fantasy quickie. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another fantasy quickie. It's a Sunday. We apologize for not getting any episode up yesterday because we had no power and we couldn't record here. But we are back, and I'm your host JJT with Komish. Komish.
Yes, hi guys. Third world problems here. I'm sure our listeners from Europe, they're not
Will
gonna
not understand that.
Yeah, and not understand in the Manila or the Philippines. Well, Jeremy's in the province. There are
It was
days like
unscheduled, so I think there was just something wrong with one of the electric lines. Anyway, let's talk fantasy. Maybe let's talk about some of yesterday's players and a bunch of today's players. But like always, we start off with the news. Lots of injury news. Well, not really a lot, but yeah, this is a lot considering we haven't really had this much, or at least a lot in the past couple of days. Alex Caruso out 6 to 8. This I think came out of nowhere. We recommended him as an ad without Lonzo, and out for 6 to 8 weeks.
Well, everybody saw the play. Everybody has, it was kind of talked about the play with Grayson Allen. So we just didn't think that there was going to be an injury out of it.
Yeah.
But it was a really dangerous play, and he's out 6 to 8 weeks. So at this point, of course, it's easy to drop him already.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. that's how fantasy works,
Well, this is not as bad, but the injury is bad, of course, considering that Caruso has been, had a really good, first part or early part of the season, right? He was, within top 100, considering that he's been picked last or not at all, not even picked at all, just picked off the waivers. But yeah, given that the opportunity was supposed to be there without Lonzo.
Yes. And when he came back, he was struggling. He was in minutes restriction, not struggling. It's minutes restriction, so his stats were not there. He was off the bench. But yesterday, he actually started already. I think he played his best game since coming back. I think it 1 steal, 1 block, 8 rebounds, 7 points, something like that. Yeah. So he was already getting the momentum going. So this was really a very unfortunate injury. But with this, of course, if Ayo Donsunmu was bad yesterday. So I don't know if some managers dropped him. So he might be available in some leagues. There's no question he has to be added right now. And if you have him, you have to hold him. Remember he's a rookie, so there will be bad games like yesterday.
But again,
there.
just with like rookies, the inconsistencies would be there. But I think the only good thing about Ayo is that he's not really known as a scorer, so he can do other things, right? He can do rebounding here, some assist here, the defensive stuff would probably be not too bad. So the inconsistencies will be on the scoring end, especially when Zach comes back. Probably next week. But overall, I think he still can contribute in a lot more ways.
He's not a scorer. He's not a scorer, but he can pass, and he can pass well, and he can steal. Steal rate is high.
Yeah.
So those two are, I think, what you can expect from him.
Yeah. So Caruso most likely already a drop. I mean, don't even think about it. Just drop him. Malcolm Brogdon. Well, this is like Malcolm Brogdon situation is kind of similar to the Paul George situation. Well, they'll just rest him for a bit, see how that goes, right? But it doesn't look good as well for Brogdon because this has been lingering since the early part of the season.
Yeah. it's been lingering, and he has come back twice, I think, from this, and he has not been able to finish games. He has in some games minutes restriction, so they just decided to rest him for basically 2 weeks, 10 days, probably 2 weeks. But as I said, when he comes back, even if he comes back healthy, I don't trust Achilles injuries. So he might eventually be shut down if it comes back again.
Yeah,
especially the Pacers are close to tanking anyway.
Yeah, I was telling Commission this afternoon during our group in our chat that the Pacers, one left from their starting five. Levert also didn't play today. Probably just rest. He had a legit injury that was there on the notes, but it wasn't. I think it's not as bad as it seems, but we don't know, right? It's Levert. So yeah, the Pacers are very, very depleted. So that makes Duarte a lot more attractive. Justin Holiday, a hold, maybe some Torrey Craig. If you're in the deeper leagues, those guys could still be the players to pick up.
Yeah. Kiefer Sykes, I did not put him there today. Kiefer Sykes would probably be starting. He started the past two games. He's okay. He's okay. But these guys, there's a reason why they're not in the NBA to start the season. Duan Washington and Kiefer Sykes. They're good players. That's why they're in the NBA right now. But they're not really going to be consistent. So be careful with that. But in the 10 days that Brogdon will be out, I think Sykes can be a streamer. Just close your eyes and hope for the best.
On games wherein, on days like these, wherein there's not much games, not much players to pick, right? And if you have a bunch of moves left towards the end of the week, and you don't really need, you won't be able to finish or at least maximize all your moves, worth a stream. Of course, that's assuming that you have a player to drop. You don't just drop anybody for these guys.
And remember, if you read our week 15 analyzer, there are a few games next week again, similar to this week, and the Pacers they have a good streaming schedule. So these guys that we just mentioned might come in handy next week again.
But again, the priority would probably be Justin Holiday, who's probably not there. I think Torrey Craig would be the guy there in your waiver wire, most likely. Not really the most enticing ad or the most exciting ad, but yeah, like we said,
I would go Sykes over Craig, to be honest. I know, I just feel like I go for a point guard. Anytime you're streaming, he could have 5 turnovers like today, he could have a 4 shooting night, but the ball is still in his hands. If he gets 30 minutes, he's bound to get stats, right?
True. Yeah, I think Torrey Craig's value lies more on the center, the center situation with Sabonis.
Yes,
right, and how well Goga plays. Today Goga played well as well. So, Brogdon out. Nothing to do there. Hold or maybe trade. I think this is the best time to, if you want to trade him. Someone might want him. His value might still be good considering that it's just 10 days. But yeah, try that. I don't trust him moving forward to finish the season. Actually, Markkanen injured, sprained ankle.
He didn't step on anyone. He just, when he landed, it was a bad landing, and it was a pretty bad one. It was complete twist of the ankle. He did put very little weight eventually, but it looks like a multiple week thing.
Yeah,
it looked bad. Just put it that way. So expect to be without him for a while.
Yeah, and with that, maybe Love gets a boost, right?
Okoro. Yes, maybe. Okoro, or in my buy players, I put Dean Wade there. He started for Markkanen, and I know he's very low end. he just basically shoots threes. But well, if you want minutes, probably he's gonna get the most minutes out of this injury.
Yeah.
I don't trust Osman, but yeah, it should be Osman also. He should also get some
good runs.
Some good runs, yeah. But Osman has been disappointing every time he gets a chance. He's not been able to capitalize. So it's
we initially thought without Rubio, it was Osman that will, one of the guys that will benefit more was Osman because he was playing well.
Yes.
Before the Rubio injury and before getting into COVID protocol. So, Okoro, Dean Wade, Love would probably benefit. Like I said, I think he's, but those guys you probably will not be available in your waiver. Mostly is Okoro and Dean Wade. Olynyk is out on COVID protocol, so that's another 10 days, probably 3 to 4 games, 4 to 5 games out. Could be a drop. I don't. This is a tougher one though. Do you drop Olynyk at this point or just wait it out?
I don't know. It depends on how you got Olynyk, I guess. If you got him just by adding him from the free agency, it would not hurt as much as just drop him again, right? But if you've been waiting for him for 3 weeks or 2 weeks, I'm not saying since the time he got injured, maybe you got him 2 weeks before or 3 weeks before, stashed him. I think you have to stash again because it's not fair to just give him 1 or 2 games, right?
And another thing is, you might want to wait it out a bit. I guess it depends on where you are in the standings. It's towards the tail end of the week anyways. I don't think one game day would be a big factor. So wait a bit, I guess.
And as we said, protocols are, shorter, vague and shorter these days because of the 5-day thing. Like Batum came out in 2 days or 1 day. Hali came back in less than a week. But Desmond Bain is still there, so it's all over the place. Really, it depends on a lot of things. We don't know much except that he's in protocol. So I think you hold. At this point, you hold.
Yeah. Dame Lillard. Some news on Dame Lillard. Not interested to come back if they aren't in playoff contest. Well, they are. I think 10th.
They're 10th. They're 19 and 26. They're around 2 games ahead of the 11th place, which is the Kings. I think two games ahead. So they're there. I don't know what Lillard is talking. How high Lillard wants them to be. If he wants them to be like top 7, top 8, then that's never.
Maybe he doesn't want to play in the play-in.
Well, if he doesn't want to play in the play-in, then he's out for the season. I'll just put it that way. But I think he's just it's an interview can take it out of context, but I feel like if they're 10th, they still are 10th when he comes back. And when he can come back, he will come back. Because there's still 7, 8, 9, 10. The Lakers suck. Clippers don't have, Kawhi and Paul George. So there's, and then the Wolves are really not tested anyway. So So they could sneak in. They could sneak into the playoffs. So I think what he means by it is if they drop further, like 12th, 13th, then there's no point for him to come back.
Yeah, and Lillard owners would probably be watching that and hoping that the Blazers string up some wins to get a more cushion from that for that 10th or 9th or 8th spot, right? I mean,
but I just didn't like how he answered some questions, like he's saying that the agreement was he will be reevaluated in 6 weeks time and not really come back in 6 weeks time. So if that is what he believes will happen, then really there's no point in keeping him. But let's see. Maybe the interview
just like the words he used seemed like he has no intentions of playing
coming
anymore.
back. Yeah. That's how I understood it, but other people might understand it differently. So up to you guys.
It's gonna be tough. I mean, we've seen lots of Dame Lillard trades already. Some high, higher than most, some lower than most. I mean, so it's all over the place. Like we said, when as commissioners as well, dealing with trades for Lillard is going to be tricky because um, the valuations of his value has been really all over the place. Like
We
we said
have
before, there have been a KPJ trade for Lillard. Some added a Dame Lillard +1 for maybe a Zach LaVine. Uh, that was early this week. So it's all over the place. It can go as high as that and then as low as KPJ, I guess.
we have a listener who commented to our post, Ivan Dale Gundran. He said that he was gonna trade Ayo for Dame. So I don't know I don't know if he has Ayo or he has Dame. He's a deal's gonna get. That's a deal that maybe shows you how low Dame's value is right now.
Yeah, and that's it. That's really interesting, and from a fantasy manager from the outside looking in, right? It's just crazy how the valuations can go. I mean, Ayo is just picked up from the waiver for a Dame. If you look at it, that's crazy value for a player you picked seventh, eighth, or ninth.
Yeah, I told him if he owns Dame and he needs to get into the playoffs, yes, I will do that. Yeah. I need warm bodies, and Ayo has good upside, so I'll do that. But if I am like top 3, top 4, maybe top 2 even, I won't do that. I'll just gamble on Dame because Dame can Dame can be the the what you call it, the dark horse.
The game changer for you.
Yeah, the game changer.
But
for
again,
you to win it.
Managers who are fighting for a spot in the playoffs have probably no reason to get Dame really, unless they're giving up very little or there's a warm body that's included in the deal. It's gonna be hard for you to get him, even if it's a nobody, right? And even if it's gonna be hard because you're gonna, especially in a 14 team and up league. In a 12 team, I might understand. Yes, you might feel confident that you're gonna make it. But yeah, in a 14 team, it's hard to get players in the waiver, especially if a lot of the managers are very active. Yeah, so it's gonna be tricky about Dame Lillard. Good news though, Anthony Davis is, I think, questionable for tomorrow's game.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's upgraded to questionable. He has already been practicing without the braces, so I would say there's a big chance he plays tomorrow. I think maybe minutes restriction. I think minutes restriction for sure. Maybe 20 to 22 minutes.
All right. I have a question. So tomorrow, there's a lot of games tomorrow as well, and there is a possibility that you probably have a bunch of players playing tomorrow. And if you have Anthony Davis, do you play him already?
I have Anthony Davis, but I don't. I have Anthony Davis, and my team that's an easier thing for me to play him. I activated him right away.
Sorry, I lost that. I lost that for a bit.
I have AD, and in one of my leagues, but the thing is, my team doesn't have a full lineup tomorrow, so it's easier for me to activate him. I just drop a streamer, and then AD would become a streamer. So for me, it's AD. You play him. But if let's say you're down already in points, tomorrow is Judgment Day, the last day of the week. If you're down categories, then why play him right away, right? I mean, just get a streamer who would probably help you in the other stats that you have a chance, maybe assists, maybe threes, maybe steals. So it depends on your matchup. If you remember, AD is going to give you blocks, AD is going to give you rebounds, but if you're down there or you're way up already in those cuts, there's no point. No point in playing him.
Yeah. So yeah, he could be on minutes restrictions. Just something to watch out for. Yeah, he will be. All right. Some worry players aside from those injured players. Let's start off with Cole Anthony struggling, and of course, with the emergence of Jalen Suggs. So far has had a string of good games. Suggs has played really well over
Yeah.
what, the past 3-4 games.
Since he came back, actually, he has been playing better. I just said that Suggs is better, but he's not really 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 good all of a sudden. But he's better, and that has an effect on Cole Anthony for sure. The past 3 games, I think, has been bad. 9 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, inefficiencies. So, you know, that's double whammy. But for me, Cole will bounce back. I think he can still bounce back. But if you expect Cole of before, maybe not, because they're getting healthier. Markel
Well,
Fultz is coming also.
well, for one, Cole of before was a way very high value already. I mean, considering you probably got him really low, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and the Magic are also one of those ranking teams, I guess, and they'll play Cole, and that's for sure. He'll get the minutes as long as he's healthy. I think part of the worry about Cole is that he hasn't really been healthy. He's been in and out of the lineup for some time,
Yeah, for
and
some
yeah,
time, yeah.
so there might be something lingering there that's bothering him a bit. So yeah, he'll have the minutes. Yeah, I think even if Fultz comes back, I don't think Fultz will really threaten him here. But of course, that's probably gonna be 5-6 minutes less for Cole Anthony or Jalen Suggs. So yeah, worrying. But again, shouldn't
Worrying.
shouldn't
Ah,
worry. You shouldn't worry too much if you just picked him off the waivers. Should still be good, better than where you picked him, most likely.
Trending down. I'll put it as trending down. Cole
Yeah,
is trending down. Yeah.
yeah. Cam Johnson, another so-so game to them. Well, a bad game today. Um, is
Three
one of three straight bad
He's,
games, I think.
since he has come back, he's been bad. Since he came back from, I don't know, it's COVID or injury, I forgot.
Injury, he had an injury.
Injury, sprained ankle. Since he came back from his sprained ankle, he's been bad. Shooting terribly, not helping in anything, actually. 8 points and giving terrible field goal. He only has 1 3-pointer or something. No steals, not much rebounds. I've been tempted to drop him in the 16 team, but luckily Jay Crowder, not luckily, but Jay Crowder got injured today, so I gave Cam until today. So at least now I'll give him longer because I don't know what Jay Crowder's situation is. It's a wrist thing. He came off the game fast, as in he was running to the locker room. So I don't know if that's good or bad. Maybe he wanted to go to the toilet or something, but but he was holding to his wrist. So hold on to Cam Johnson. Hopefully this will help him.
Also, I know this might not have a direct effect, but Cameron Payne also got injured today.
Hurt. Yeah.
So could have some value, added value more for Cam Johnson. Of course, having a depleted lineup for the Suns, could mean some added minutes for these guys like Cam Johnson. Yeah, the others, Al Horford. We haven't really talked much about Al Horford, but he has been bad. He not really. Should I say bad? He has been bad for a few games, for a lot of games now. I think just one Al Horford stock there. Yeah. So he's been bad.
He's been bad, and I think the trade rumors have really affected him.
For Horford, there's trade rumors for Horford.
Yeah. Horford is one of the possible, actually the bigger chance that one of the Celtics that have the bigger chance to be moved aside from Schroeder. And his wife, I forgot if it's during the game or on Twitter or on social media, actually had a post about it. So it's obviously affecting Horford. And everybody's expecting him to be traded by the deadline. So let's see where he goes.
Yeah. Hopefully he goes to a team that can use his skill set. Because if given the minutes, given the chance, he can still put up some numbers, like we saw in the early part of the season. So
his role has really shrunk. Robert Williams has improved. Of course,
Yeah.
Schroeder coming
I think there's
with his own.
a big effect there with Robert Williams because early on, right? Robert
Yeah.
Williams was just so doesn't really wow you with the stats, and then I don't know. In the past few weeks, he's been really good, Robert Williams. Although Horford has been bad for quite a while now.
But he's been worse
Yeah.
for 2
I mean,
weeks.
the thing that you only get from Horford maybe are 1 or 2 blocks per game. I mean, that's the only stat that would probably be useful. The others are just not much there.
Outside of one game where he scored 16 points, I think that's the game prior to yesterday's game. He scored in double figures. Before that, I think 8 or 9 straight games already. He hasn't scored in double figures. He hasn't rebounded in double figures. It's been basically just blocks. It's been basically even worse than Steven Adams, to be honest. And the only reason I think managers I don't see Horford on waiver wires. I see Adams on waiver wires is maybe because he was so good in the beginning, so people wanted to give him more more chances. But for me, he was droppable already for a couple of weeks.
Yeah. So Al Horford worrying. Could be a drop. I guess dropping him would depend now where you are and how your team is, I guess. But a trade can also benefit him later on. So and that's what, a couple of weeks from now, 2 weeks, two and a half weeks from now.
2 weeks, two and a half weeks. Yeah.
If you can just hold on and wait, that might, he might be beneficial to you in the later weeks or towards the end of the season. All right, some rookie report before we move on to some buy players. Since we talked about Suggs a bit, so Suggs has been playing well, like we said. Scotty Barnes had a great game yesterday. Evan Mobley, Kate Cunningham. I guess the only player here who has really had a bad season is Jalen Green.
Yeah,
Kababayan, Jalen Green.
Suggs has not had the season we expected him to have, but at least there's hope.
But he has been decent.
Before that's the thing. Before he got injured, he was already playing better. That's why when he was about to come back and I read that he was practicing, I was telling everybody to pick him up because I felt like he was already kind of got something already. The switch kind of sort of flipped before he got injured. So now that he got a long rest, that would be even helped him more. So that Suggs. Jalen Green, it's just that Suggs can block, can steal, can pass, can do so many things. Yeah. Jalen Green, as we said, I don't know what he does. He's kind of like Jordan Clarkson, and I did say that, another kababayan, and they're both they play Filipino style basketball.
Like I was just about to say, they just play the Filipino brand of basketball.
Go, right?
So I guess for Jalen Green, we throw out all the Anthony Edwards comparisons in terms of what could happen in the second half of the season. I don't think I've said it as well in Papi Roy's show. He asked me this, if I could see Jalen Green do a Anthony Edwards type of. I just think he's a little bit raw still for the NBA. I think he needs a year under his belt to get really going.
His body is not ready for the NBA. His game is not ready for the NBA. But again, as we said, when he came back, he played better. He shot the ball better. He scored better. He was more in control. But when his shots do not go in, there's just nothing there. There's just nothing else. Yeah. Nothing left.
I guess it's the same thing, that what's happening to Jalen Green could be one of the things that could have happened to Sengun if they play him a lot of minutes, right? Some inconsistency, although Sengun has probably been more skilled in terms of the other stats. But maybe the pace of the NBA is catching up with Jalen Green because this guy hasn't even had college under his belt, right? So I mean, he's really young.
I think you put it perfectly. He's raw. He doesn't. His game is not complete for sure. I'm not saying he's not going to become a superstar or a star in the NBA. It could happen. Players, he's 18, 19. They improve. They improve their passing, they improve their dribbling, their defense, and everything. That could improve. The difference with Sengun is Sengun's game actually translates well already to fantasy. He's also raw, and he has said that he's having a problem with the pace and everything. But even so, even with that, if you play him minutes, his game will translate because he passes for a big man. He actually gets defensive stats even if he doesn't jump so high. He has good instincts. So that's the difference between them. Sengun needs to, of course, get used to the NBA game, but already his game, if he's given enough 20-25 minutes, is enough to own in fantasy. Yeah.
And Sengun is played with men. I know Jalen Green has played with the Ignite team, which is a G League team, but I don't think it's a lot closer to what the NBA has, because the NBA, like they say, it's what separates the men from the boys, right? I mean, a lot of G League players are really great at G League, but when they come to the NBA, they are no one. They rarely do you see G League players really do well consistently in the NBA. Not a lot of players, and a lot of the good. I mean, if players who can't score much or can't do much on G League would have a hard time in the NBA, and we've seen that, right? And that's why we are high on players who perform a lot in the G League. At least they have this slim chance of making it to the NBA, right? And you've already seen it. I mean, let's talk about Jonathan Kuminga for a bit, right? In the G League, he's playing really, really well. But that doesn't mean it will translate the same way to the NBA game.
Yes. Well, that's true. But again, Kuminga does more things also.
Yeah.
In the G League, though, Kuminga struggled with the shot. So, and the difference was in the G League, he was stealing, rebounding.
There are a lot more things that he can do.
Things.
And maybe Jalen needs to improve on those things. Yeah. And among these rookies, though, I think we're gonna probably fantasy rookie. The best fantasy rookie player would boil down to, I guess, Mobley and Cunningham.
And Wagner.
Maybe.
Ranks wise, actually, France is higher than Cunningham.
Yeah.
So it's actually Mobley and Cunningham. But Cade, I think Cade will get better. Cade is there. Cade's rebounds, assists, they're there. It's just that his shooting really, I don't know. Sometimes it's kind of a Jalen Green situation. He
maybe
inconsistent with his shooting, and that
I think it's a Jalen Suggs situation. He can do a lot of things.
Yes.
But the scoring
he can do more.
Hasn't really gotten there. Yeah. But he's a little bit more efficient than Suggs, I guess. Suggs could kill your field goal and your turnovers.
Yes.
So yeah, those are the rookies.
For just lastly for Mobley and Giddey, I guess we have to also talk about Giddey a little bit. Giddey was in my worry player today, and he's been good. There have been games where he's been okay, but I caution you guys to look at how both of these guys, Mobley and Giddey, is affecting some of your percentages. Giddey, we've talked about his percentages. Mobley, you might be surprised, but he's only 56% free throws this month. That's a 10-game sample size. It's not 1 or 2 games. It's 10 games. Today he was 2 out of 6. He was 75% prior to that. So this is, he's a rookie. We don't have a lot of information, but he's not really known to be a bad free throw shooter. But, it's a trend. It's ongoing. So if it continues, it's going to be a problem. So just have to be careful, monitor that closely, the free throws.
Yeah. But the good news for Mobley is that Lauri Markkanen went down, so that means the other things
would go up.
The free throw, probably would go up. So those are our rookies. Let's talk about some buy players. We talked about Isaac Okoro. Terrence Davis showed up once again. I think this guy, I'm close to stashing Terrence Davis in some of my teams wherein I'm probably top 4, top 5, wherein I probably feel a lot safer that I would make it. Just because every time he gets minutes, he performs a lot. Plays really well.
Yes, and he's outplaying Buddy Hield, and
Yeah.
we know that Buddy is on his way out. So stash until February 10 is very, very logical move. I would just say that.
Actually, to think about it, if I look at the waiver wire, there not a lot of Terrence Davis available.
There is not, yes.
Considering that their schedule wasn't really as good this week, with a lots of multiple days off, and that's that's the only reason why I was not keen to adding him. Plus the return of Halliburton. I didn't know Fox would be out today. There was Terrence Davis stock available for today's game, but yeah, I didn't add him just because I knew Halliburton would come back and I didn't know Fox would be out. But yeah, Terrence Davis, if someone drops Terrence Davis and you have the luxury of stashing him until February 10, I'd probably do that. Dante DiVincenzo had 20 today. Well, Giannis was out. So I guess that contributed to it as well.
Yeah, and Dante's been kind of disappointing since his return. But as I said, more of a monitor guy. If they're starting George Hill, if I don't know if that will continue, but if DiVincenzo goes into the starting five, I think he can do a little bit more and would be viable in maybe 16, some 14 teams if he gets to the starting five. For now, probably 16, 18 teams worth the shot.
Goga, like we said, played well again today. Now let's talk about some centers here, some low end replacements. Well, not really replacements, but centers you wouldn't really thought would be major fantasy value, right? Goga, Biyombo, and Kevon Looney. Probably they're on the same boat, right? I mean, these are centers not really known to be fantasy producers. Of course, Kevon Looney has always had the minutes. It's just this year he has been way better than what he used to be. So Goga, Biyombo, and Kevon Looney. Let's talk about them for a bit. Who would you rather have here? Does Kevon Looney have a longer lifespan, considering that he's one of their more consistent centers?
I think so. I might go Looney there and Goga. And Biyombo is my last resort. For 1-8 is not out long term. JaVale, even if Biyombo's been outplaying him in some games, I really don't see Biyombo overtaking JaVale as the backup center. And even if he does, backup center, not that appealing if Ayton is a starting center. If McGee is a starting center, yeah, okay, I like it. But it's Ayton, he's gonna be more consistent. So I'll rank it that way. Looney has been consistent even with Draymond there. He has had games where he had 7, 8 rebounds, 1 block. So I would just choose Looney. But yeah, I'll go that way. But I can understand if you go Goga, because if you're a betting man, a gambler, Looney will be Looney, right? There's nothing else you can see.
No, it's a far more exciting ad, right? A Goga would be a far more exciting ad, considering that he can score. We know he can score. He can rebound the ball. Kevon Looney is not known to score, right? He does the rebounding and the blocks, which Goga can also do. So I think it's a more exciting ad. So Goga, Kevon Looney, Biyombo, all buy players. Biyombo until maybe Ayton comes back. And Goga maybe until, even if Sabonis comes back, you might want to just wait a bit to see what happens before dropping him. You might have some minutes there. The rest was yesterday's buy. Melton, Caleb Martin. Caleb Martin is because PJ Tucker got injured, but we still don't know the timeline for that, or if it's a major injury. We all know PJ is a tough guy and might play through it. Nick Batum came back. I added Nick Batum as I dropped Caruso today in one of our leagues. Should be added. He's been playing well.
Nick Batum, he's been playing well, so he's an ad for me. He's been shooting ball well. For the Miami situation, they started Omer in the second half. So, but he only played 6 minutes out of the 24 minutes in the second half. So it's still something. It's a start. So Omer is all over the waiver wires. He's been dropped everywhere. Just look at the trend. If the next game he plays 12 minutes, okay, and see where he's getting the minutes. If he's playing with Bam, that's good news, because I'm pretty sure it won't be long before Deadmon will be out of the rotation. If he can get 12 minutes with Bam, he can get 12 minutes without Bam. That's 24 minutes. So just monitor closely. Pounce right away if
I think
there's any.
18 team, if the trend still continues to be like 5-7 minutes per game or less than 10 minutes per game, in an 18 team he'll probably be dropped. Because I don't see him being dropped yet. At least I have 1 or 2 18 team leagues. He's still being held. But yeah, he is being. Probably they're gonna wait the next game. If he doesn't show up the next game, he'll probably be dropped. Because again, in an 18 team, there's really not much players to add there. So you probably just wait and see what happens. But in a 16 team and below, he has been dropped. Just wait. As soon as he gets, even just look at the first half scores, first half trend. Like if he plays in the first half, like 5, 6, 7 minutes, right, in the first half.
Well, for one, if PJ is out, if he starts,
they might play him.
And then not just might play him. If he starts, that is already a good
signal.
Sign. Yeah, that's already a good sign.
Yeah, you might be wondering why we're telling you to watch out for him, because he was too good, and he was too good to go from a double guy to a DNP, right? And considering the depth of Miami in the center position isn't as good as maybe Phoenix's depth, like we compared him to Jalen Smith, right, who also played well without Ayton. It's not as deep as that. He, I guess JaVale is a better player than Deadmon, right? So
I think for Omer, he will be back into relevance. He will be. He will be back. The question is when and how, and which exact period of time. So since he's available in your waiver wires, adding him too early will kill your team. Will cost you. Adding him too late, you'll not be able to get him. So that's why you have always to monitor Miami games, because he's a game changer. He can change
come on. He probably won't do as well as he did, especially with Bam there. But close to that is also good. If you are excited to add players like Goga, Biombo, you should be more excited to add players like Omer. PJ Washington, after just being called out as a drop player, had 20 points and I think 6 threes there, or what, 4 threes. I couldn't remember, but he played well. I'm still not rushing in to add him because it's just one game and he has shown some inconsistencies, but a player to watch as well. And like you said, he is on the trading block.
Maybe in 12 team I won't rush, but in deeper leagues I will rush to get him, because you'll not be able to get him if he continues playing well. I just feel the upside is there. If he struggles again, then just drop him again. I think. But in shallower leagues, maybe not yet.
All right, those are our buy players. Finally, feel good players. Let's talk about who was I thinking? Khris Middleton for a bit. Chris Middleton has been kind of just quietly doing his business.
Yes.
He has been good. Sure. I mean, he has been good for a while now, right?
Overall, he's just top 50, but it's because he started really bad. This year, but lately, as I said, this January, I think 6.8 rebounds, 6 assists, 27 or 28 points, and more importantly, shooting the ball very well, 48%, which is very, very good for a wing player who takes a lot of his shots from the perimeter. So but of course, Drew has been out majority of those time, and today Giannis was out. So let's see if they're all healthy, if he can continue this.
Who would you rather have though? Khris Middleton or SGA, another feel-good player of ours?
I'd go Khris Middleton. I'll go Khris Middleton because Khris Middleton's ceiling is just much higher than SGA at this point. I don't know if people
SGA has been playing well as well.
That's exactly my point. He's playing well, but he hasn't been hitting top 20 or in any period of time, because free throws is bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's surprisingly bad for a guard. I'm not saying 50%, 60% bad, but it's not, elite.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't shoot threes. And of course, we know his field goal is 42%. In this hot stretch, it's still 42%. So yeah, he scores well, 30 points, 20 points, 29. There are good games here and there, but what else does he do? Maybe, the assist is there right now, so good, but he's not an elite guy in steals either. So the ceiling is lower on SGA, plus the risk involved in owning him, given the tanking issues and all. So yeah, Middleton for me.
Yeah, all right. So yeah, and with that, SGA also played well and has been okay. But like you said, I think he has been playing well enough where people now tend to forget about the tanking thing towards the end of the season, because he's been doing well. Other players, Nurkic has been playing well. He's been, I think he might be benefiting from not having Dame Lillard.
For sure. He's happy.
Because if you look at it, he started playing well when Dame Lillard stopped playing.
Yeah, his usage rate has moved up from 23 to 29. That's a huge jump for Nurkic, and minutes moved up by 4 or 5 minutes a game. Well, it's also probably because Larry Nance is out, right? We should not discount that Larry Nance takes a lot of minutes from Nurkic. The Blazers play small a lot of times, and without Nance, they don't have that luxury. so they've been forced to roll with Nurkic. I don't know if this will be sustainable when Nance comes back, but I don't think Nance is close to coming back. So enjoy the ride, I guess.
Yeah, but like we said, Nurkic is like a guard when it comes to his turnovers. Gives you 3 to 4 sometimes in a game, so that's
more than maybe 5.
That's kind of annoying. But if you have a good guard lineup that you don't care about the turnovers, sometimes in fantasy, not many really think about the turnovers anymore, right? I mean,
yeah.
If you have less, then that's good. If you don't have, sometimes having less is not good as well. Maybe that's because a lot of your players did play well as well, right? I mean,
yeah.
So yeah, Yusuf Nurkic been really good. And that wraps up our feel good. Anything you want to discuss? Any player that you want to discuss as we wrap it up?
No one in particular. I think we discussed a lot of players.
Schedule analyzer is up already for week 15, so you can check that out. Plan your streaming schedule, and see which players you want to, especially if you're playing the weekly settings. That schedule analyzer would definitely
just a fast recap. 2 games, the Wizards, the Rockets, and the Thunder. So three teams with 2 games. If you own Beal, if you own SGA, if you own Christian Wood, these guys, then you're in trouble this week. So try to stream a lot.
If you own Jalen Green, then good for you.
If you own Jalen Green, maybe if in a weekly league, maybe not. Don't start him. Don't start him already.
But even if in a daily league, maybe having just 2 games would be good for you. Maybe he plays 1 good game and that's it. That's I mean, you take that rather than have that 0 of 11 type of shooting that he has. All right, so that's it for our daily fantasy quickie. Tomorrow's Judgment Day. Good luck, guys, and it's almost 4 as we record this. That means it's time to pick up some players and get ready for tomorrow's Judgment Day. All right, we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.